more equation solving. Now we're bringing in some fractions. We're going to work with solving our multi-step equations. This is round 3. And we're going to see what we need to do in order to clean this up when we've got messy fractions. Let's get started. So first thing is, and you'll see these 4 bullet points. We're just going to try and clean and tidy these up as we go. So the first is, if we do or can distribute, we will do so. Then we're going to do this important procedure, which is just clear the fraction. That just means I don't want to work with fractions. I want to get rid of them. And then we'll do the same operations that we did in the previous 2 lessons. So let's look at this clear the fraction bit. What that means is we want to find the least common multiple. What that means is I want to find a number that will make my 9 and my 2 disappear from the bottom. So let's take this step by step, and I'm going to rewrite this problem just so that I've got more space. So the first thing I want to do, folks, is I want to keep everything consistent. So I'm going to put x plus 1 over 1 as well, and that way I'm thinking in terms of my 3 fractions. Here we go. So now I have a 9 in the denominator, I have a 2, and I have a 1. I want to multiply by the least common multiple of 9, 2, and 1. That means what number can I multiply to all 3 of those fractions that 9 would go into, that 2 would go into, and then obviously 1 is going to go into it. So off on the side, I'm thinking, all right, what are some numbers that go into both 9 and 2? You're going to think big, maybe, like, oh, 36, 72. Don't think so big. Think of the smallest, the least common multiple. And the one that pops into my head is 9 times 2, 18. So here's the next thing that we want to do. We want to multiply everything, all 3 of those fractions by that number 18, the least common multiple. So we're thinking about it like this, and here's why. I have 18 in the numerator, and then before I multiply, I have this 9 in the denominator. What do I know about 18 divided by 9? 18 over 9 is 2. So I can write this as 2 times, and don't forget, it's the quantity of 2x plus 1. Repeat that process for the second term. I have 18 in the numerator. I have 2 in the denominator. What is 18 divided by 2? 9. So now I have 9 times the quantity of 3x plus 9. And now, now I have 18, but that's over 1. So I'm going to have some big numbers. So now I've got 18 times that quantity, x plus 1. So here we go. Now this looks a little bit like the problems we were doing in the previous sections. Now I'm going to do a heck of a lot of distributing. So I've got 2 times 2x. That's 4x. 2 times 1 is 2. So that's my 2 distributed. Plus, and now I do the same with my 9. 9 times 3x is 27x. And 9 times 9 gives me 81. And now I distribute my 18 to x, leaves us with 18x, and then 18 times 1 is 18. So folks, now you are identifying and looking for what are the like terms. And I hope that you saw there's a 4x on the left side and a 27x on the left side. That gives me 31 x's if I combine those 2. I also have on that left side a 2, a positive 2, and an 81. So I can add those 2 together, and I've got 83. And then I still have the stuff on the right side of the equation. So now we can just start moving things. We're into the isolation phase. We're isolating that variable. So let's get those x's together. And I'm going to subtract 18 from 31. And I think that's 13. So I have 13x plus 83 equals 18. Nice. And now I want to move that 83 over to the other side so I can combine it with its like term. So I'm subtracting 83 from 18. God, these numbers got big. And so that's negative 65, Desmos is going to tell you. Or you can just do it by hand. And lastly, we want x alone, so we're dividing both sides by 13. Negative 65 divided by 13 is negative 5, and that's our answer. Now we'll also just have questions that look like 5, but happen to have fractions in them. Nothing is different. We are still going through the process of distributing. So let's do it. So we've got negative 4 times negative x, that's 4x. Negative 4 times positive 5 halves gives us negative 10. Ask Desmos for help if you need it. And then we distribute here. 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times negative 2 is minus 10. And then I've got my plus 1/2. Let's start combining some like terms. Let's add maybe 10 to both sides. Ooh, look at that. That's pretty good. So that leaves me with 4x on this side. And here I have 10x plus 1/2. Let's subtract. We're going to get the x terms together. Let's subtract 10 from both sides. And that gives us negative 6x equals 1/2. So maybe you are thinking, that's what I'm thinking, I'm going to divide by negative 6. So folks, if you are using Desmos to clean up 1/2 divided by negative 6, let's be really careful about what you're telling the calculator to do for you. You're telling that calculator, take 1/2 and divide it by negative 6. And then Desmos is going to tell you, oh, that's negative 1/12. And you know what? Desmos is right. But here is what I don't want you doing. Because Desmos isn't as smart as you. Desmos does not see this as 1/2 divided by negative 6. It's treating this as 1 divided by 2 over negative 6. Wrong. So just make sure when you're seeing this that you've got 1/2, that quantity, divided by negative 6. And that's going to give us our solution of x equals negative 1/12.